Welcome to Alpha Tutorials, episode 13. As discussed last time, our shows are going to focus on particular features of the cameras and how you can best utilize them. And while we were off air, we got a question by Joanna Espino about the picture effects on a new Alpha 65 that she had bought. So today we're going to talk a bit about the picture effects. We're going to split this into two shows because there's quite a few picture effects that the cameras have to offer. We're going to be illustrating the picture effects using the Alpha 57, but you can, the controls and the layouts are the same as the 65. The picture effects themselves are very similar across the Alpha range. So what we want to look at is, first of all, to use a picture effects, you've got to go into either program, aperture priority, shutter priority, or manual. So your PASM on the mode dial. The picture effects don't work in the other modes, so you need to be aware of that. If you want to utilize picture effects, you've got to use those modes. Go back to some of our earlier podcasts if you want to see what those modes are and how to use them. To get to the picture effects, all you've got to do is on the back on the control dial, you've got a little mode set here at the bottom, which is got a palette and a paintbrush. You hit that down there and it will bring up your different picture effects. Your very first picture effect that you have is toy camera. Now, toy camera gives you that kind of Lomo-like effect. It's popular on your smartphones with your Instagram apps and that, your darkening of the corners and slightly saturated colors. But what you have here is the ability to go and shift that even further, because it comes up with toy camera normal by default. You scroll to the side and it'll give you a cool look to your images. Now that's quite cool because you may want to have that cooler effect to some of your scenes. Sometimes the Lomo effect can kind of give you a very saturated area, and on a warm scene it might not always be what you want. You have the ability to get your warm, your green cast, and a magenta cast as well. So those are the different variations of the toy camera picture effect that you have available to you. The next picture effect that you have is pop color. Now, pop color, it makes all the colors pop, saturated. Really just making things jump out at you a little bit better. Try it out, see where it works for you. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it does really help in getting some, particularly your reds and your greens, really bright colors out there, and it accentuates them. The next mode that you have is posterization. Now, posterization goes back to the early days when posters were printed on presses that had limited color ranges, not fancy inkjet printers and that like we have today. So what they would do is focus on your key main colors, and there would be quite a contrast difference between them. So posterization in its color mode, you have a very limited range of colors available to you. There's heavy contrast between it, and it gives you something of a kind of rock band type effect image, which is quite interesting. You also have the option of doing it in black and white as well. So there's very little in terms of gray shades. You've got one or two, but from white to black, very few shades of gray, and this heavy contrast between them as well. The other picture effect that you have then is retro photo. Now, retro photo is makes your pictures look like they were shot in the old days with slightly brown toning to it. So it's not a sepia effect, but it is definitely trying to give you an older classical look, slightly browner tones, not so contrasty or colorful or punchy. You also then have soft high key. Now, soft high key is basically... It's an effect that was used quite a lot about a decade or two ago, using it for beauty images, glamour, sometimes in weddings. It gives a soft effect to your image, so you can spend as much as you want on your lenses. If you're going to use this all the time, it's going to be soft, but makes it soft and punches up your lighting. So basically what you want to do is make the skin seem soft and smooth and beautiful, almost porcelain-like, and that's what this effect is used for. Not so common today in fashion and magazines if you pick them up, but it's definitely an effect that you could try out in the studio next time or with a wedding. Just experiment and see what you get out of it. Well, that covers it for this show. In part 2, in episode 14, we'll cover the other picture effects and where you might find them useful. If you get some great effects trying out these picture modes, why don't you send us some of those? You can contact us, alphatutorials.co.za, share your images with us, share your questions with us. We'd be happy to look at some of those and to give you feedback if you're keen. Till next time, cheers.